Did you ever think about how your clothes are a form of communication? They tell the world how you want to be perceived. So, what do you think people are trying to say when they wear dirty, ripped, spiky jackets covered in crazy slogans and logos? In the song Leather Love Studs, the band Who Killed Spiky Jacket writes, "The spiky jacket is the armor of the punk warrior of today. You must fight for it or die trying. Long live punk, long live boy, long live spiky jacket. What are you waiting for?" The song is a call to arms for punks to don the signature style and ethos of a subculture that goes against the grain. Punk jackets have a culture. Punk jackets have a long history of expressing counterculture style and sentiments. Today, I'll share a little bit about how these jackets became an important part of my life, how they came to signify rebellion, and how important they are to the punk subculture. I was only 14 when I first heard the scream lyrics and ripping chords of punk. I made a new friend that wore a denim vest with the sleeves freshly cut off. He spent his school lunches with a needle and thread, slowly building up his new patch obsession. My buddy's name was Robert. He showed me bands like Black Flag, the Misfits, and the Casualties. We bonded over the music and how we always felt a little bit off in our large groups of friends. The artifact I'm presenting is what many people call a punk jacket. These are also known as a crush jacket, a patch jacket, a leather, a battle vest, or simply a vest. They're a vest or jacket that is usually denim or leather that has band and music artists and their political patches sewn onto them. For leather, it's more common to paint them because it's a lot harder to sew into them. There are differences in punk vests and jackets. The more widely favored battle vests, punk jackets usually have a large back patches sewn onto them, and lots of studs taking in the extra space in between. Jackets are usually made with thick canvas or cloth and screen printed. This one is painted. And punk jackets usually include a more diverse collections of bands and genres, whereas the metal battle vest is usually just metal bands that are embroidered and glued on. So I started meeting a lot of other people like Robert. They were into this abrasive music. They didn't want to live by social norms and follow the steps laid out in front of them to enter the rat race and claw at the farce of the American dream. Many of them sported these colorful sort of jackets. It took me a while to feel comfortable enough to sport my own. Back then, these sewn-up vests felt so powerful, like you could only don one after a trial by fire and years of dedication to being an outsider. After a long time of going to shows and being involved with the punk scene, I started collecting patches and sewed up a pair of shorts with some band logos and political slogans that reflected my taste in politics. The origins of the punk or crush jacket are a little bit murky. According to the Anarchy UK site, most people agree that the Sex Pistols were the originators of the outlandish punk aesthetic, thanks to their wardrobe designer Vivienne Westwood. And early punk fashion consisted of dyed hair, facial piercings, tattoos, and studded leather jackets. This fashion was later emboldened with a do-it-yourself attitude by the anarcho band Crass. Music for the Misfits wrote that Crass was an art collective and punk band that formed in 1977 in Essex, and they promoted anarchism and a movement of resistance that awakened and appealed to many. While the Sex Pistols had their own stylists, Crass's fashion was born out of working class necessity, where mending clothing was a common practice in day-to-day life. Much like today, leather jackets had a high cost, so Crass and many of their fans opted for more easily attainable denim jackets that were frequently cut down into vests, studded and covered in handmade patches with political slogans. This fashion rebellion is rooted in the UK in the mid-1970s. This was a time of economic uncertainty that led to disillusionment with the government and sparked a dissident culture. Definitive Decades writes, on the economic front, 1975 saw inflation peak at over 25% before starting to slowly retreat. But the damage was done, as prices for ordinary consumers skyrocketed, and eroded living standards. These conditions spurred the punk movement, which rejected traditional values in the face of an unattainable cost of living. The punk subculture and fashion still thrives today all over the world. Many of the issues that inspired the original subculture are still present today in much of the world. One of the hotbeds is Southern California, with many bands and collectives coming out of LA, Ventura, and San Diego counties. Even 30 years after the inception of the punk subculture and the aesthetic, I still found meaning in this specific style. I started making and wearing vests because I thought, number one, they looked so cool. I wanted to find like-minded people who felt few and far between, and I wanted to support underground artists that I resonated with. The ideas that fuel this subculture are typically against capitalism, authoritarianism, and challenge much of conventional societal values. These ideas are physically manifested in the aesthetic and practices of acquiring a punk jacket. This is something that you're encouraged to make on your own, something you do on your own terms and can't generally buy. I got this particular vest at a really free market in LA. I traded it for a handful of patches that I made. This aligns with the anti-capitalist and anti-consumerist ideologies that I love so much about the punk counterculture. One useful thing that vests and patches have helped me do is find friends, comrades, and like-minded people. It must have been 2011. I was at the bus stop waiting for a ride when I spotted a real particular patch on a stranger. We bonded over a shared love for Wingnut Dishwashers Union, very niche underground band that I seldom ever heard talked about in real life. That person went on to become one of my best friends and confidants that I would have never found if I wasn't looking for those patches that expressed our fascination for these passionate artists. For many years, I wore a vest almost every day with the patches as a style I could visually display all of my love and all of my hate at once. No other piece of clothing can come close to expressing what a vest can. I spoke to Isaac Arguelovich, a member of the band Godlizilla and a prominent figure in the 805 punk scene. He shared how he feels when he's putting on his own punk armor. When I wear my vest or jackets, I can understand it may look intimidating or vulgar, but to me it's comforting. It's where I feel most at home. And many others share the same sentiment for this hand-sewn regalia. Thank you for listening to me speak about how much love I have for these colorful, glorified rags. I hope you learned a little bit about how these jackets became an important part of my life by expanding my forms of expression, how they came to signify rebellion against cultural norms in the past and present, and how significant they are to the overall punk subculture by embodying our countercultural ideologies and allowing us to find kindred spirits to form lifelong relationships. Our clothes are the outward expression of our inner thoughts. For someone to choose to wear ratty hand-sewn vests, I would think that they must have to mean something